Gentlemen over 50, if you're getting enough sleep but still feel tired waking up without feeling like yourself, this isn't a coincidence. There is a truth that many men over 50 rarely say out loud. It's the feeling of waking up each morning and realizing your body no longer feels as light as it once did. You sleep enough hours, yet you're still tired. Your mind doesn't feel sharp anymore. Your energy fades faster during the day, and the sense of drive that once felt natural now seems distant. Many men quietly accept this, believing it's simply an unavoidable part of aging. But deep down, that feeling is more than just fatigue. It's a disruption in your natural rhythm, a sense that your body is no longer fully in sync with itself. Some men begin to doubt themselves, to question the strength and vitality they once knew, and they choose silence instead. What few realize is that this isn't an ending. It's a signal, a message that your body is asking to be listened to in a different way. If you see yourself in these words, stay with this channel. Subscribe so you don't miss the upcoming content, and comment 1 to let me know you're here and walking this path with us. For a very long time, many men have believed that constant fatigue and declining vitality are simply the price of getting older. They often hear the familiar phrase, "That's just what happens when you're old," and slowly begin to accept it as an unchangeable rule. Over time, this belief settles into their mindset, causing them to stop questioning and stop paying attention to the small signals their body sends every day. But in reality, this loss of energy does not happen randomly. It doesn't appear just because of a number on a birth certificate. What's happening is far more subtle. It begins when the body's internal biological rhythm starts to drift slightly out of balance each night. When sleep is no longer deep enough, when true rest is incomplete, the body gradually loses the harmony it once had. This decline happens quietly and slowly, so slowly that many men don't even notice it. They only feel that they are not the same as before without realizing that the real cause lies in how their body rests and recovers each night. And once this is understood, a completely different perspective on aging begins to emerge. Many people believe that a man's strength is decided only during intimate moments. But there is an important truth that few pay attention to: that sense of strength does not begin in the bedroom. It begins during the quietest hours of the night, when you are deeply asleep and the outside world no longer interferes. When the body rests in the right rhythm, every internal system works together silently. Energy is recharged. Natural responsiveness and physical function are maintained. That's why when men were younger, they often woke up feeling energized and strong without any effort. Everything happened naturally, without overthinking, without worry. On the other hand, when sleep becomes light and fragmented, this chain of processes starts to break down. The body no longer has enough time to complete the recovery work that is meant to happen at night. Strength does not disappear suddenly, but slowly fades over time. And the key thing to remember is this: the problem is not desire or willpower. It's whether the body is truly getting complete rest. There is something interesting that many people only notice once it slowly starts to disappear. When you were younger, you didn't have to think much about rest. You simply lay down, fell asleep, and the next morning your body naturally felt lighter. Energy felt renewed. Flexibility and readiness for the day came back on their own. That wasn't luck. It was a time when your body still maintained deep, uninterrupted rest. Nighttime became a quiet period where everything inside was gently reset. Nothing dramatic, nothing obvious, but enough that when you woke up, you still felt like yourself. Over time, that rhythm begins to change. Not suddenly, but slowly, so slowly that many men don't notice it happening. They only realize that the familiar feeling of recovery becomes more and more rare. And here's something I want you to do right now. Pause this video for a few seconds and think about the last time you woke up truly feeling rested. If that question makes you stop and think, then what comes next in this video is worth paying close attention to. After the age of 50, there is rarely a clear moment when you can say, "From today, everything is different." The change doesn't arrive as a shock. It comes quietly, little by little, through nights of broken sleep, through waking up without knowing why, through the feeling that your body hasn't fully rested before morning arrives. At first, you think it's just one bad night, then a few nights, and eventually it becomes normal. Sleep is no longer as deep as it once was, and nighttime rest feels shorter. It's not that you sleep less, it's that sleep is no longer enough for the body to truly recover. Fatigue begins to change its form as well. It doesn't hit all at once. Instead, it lingers throughout the day. Energy doesn't disappear completely, but it no longer lasts. The sense of readiness, confidence, and strength you once had slowly fades, even though your daily routine hasn't really changed. What's important to notice is this. Many men accept this state as an unavoidable part of aging without realizing that it often begins with very small changes in how the body rests each night. When small changes in sleep repeat for long enough, the body begins to respond in ways that are hard to clearly describe. You're not completely exhausted, but you no longer feel fully energized either. Mornings move more slowly. Afternoons seem to arrive sooner. And by evening, your body already feels tired even when the day hasn't been that demanding. These signs don't appear all at once. They show up separately scattered, which makes it hard for many people to connect them. A bit of sluggishness in the morning, slight difficulty focusing during the day, a vague sense of uncertainty when confidence is needed. Each sign on its own feels small enough to ignore, but together, they create a noticeable shift in how you experience yourself. What's important to understand is that these effects don't come from laziness or giving up. They come from the body no longer receiving enough complete rest to reset itself. When nighttime recovery is shortened, the next day becomes a process of compensation. And the more you compensate, the further you drift from the strong, grounded feeling that once felt so familiar. When fatigue and uncertainty last for a long time, many men begin to turn the blame on themselves. They start to believe their body is wearing out, that they're simply not the same anymore. But the truth is much gentler than that. The body isn't broken. It's simply operating out of the rhythm it once knew. Everything that once created a sense of strength and confidence is still there inside you. It's just no longer being activated at the right time. And when the rhythm of rest is off, everything that follows begins to slow down as well. Understanding this is the first step towards seeing your body differently, with less judgment and more clarity. If what you've heard so far makes you quietly nod in agreement, leave a comment with the number 1 to support the channel. It lets me know you're here, you're listening, and you're ready to keep going with this message. When the body enters a state of deep rest, many things happen without you even realizing it. There is no noise, no visible sign on the outside, yet inside a quiet chain of processes is activated. Each part of the body seems to recognize that this is the time to reset, refresh, and prepare for the day ahead. During these hours, balance is gradually restored. Energy begins to flow more smoothly. The tension built up during the day slowly releases. The body uses the stillness of the night to repair what was worn down during the day in the most natural way possible. That's why when sleep is deep enough, many people wake up feeling lighter and clearer, even if they didn't do anything special the night before. On the other hand, when sleep is fragmented, this chain of processes cannot fully complete. Things still happen, but only partially. And it's this incomplete recovery repeated night after night that causes the body to slowly lose the sense of stability and vitality that once felt so familiar. When you were younger, the body adapted very easily. Even after a few nights of poor sleep or irregular routines, balance returned quickly. Over time, however, that ability to compensate gradually weakens. Small factors that once seemed insignificant begin to leave clearer marks on how the body functions. After the age of 50, many people notice that their body no longer absorbs and uses things the way it once did. Sunlight doesn't bring the same sense of renewal it used to. Habits that were once harmless now feel heavier, and the pressures accumulated over the years require more energy just to maintain a stable state. This doesn't happen because you've done something wrong. It simply reflects the reality that the body now needs more refined support. When one small link is missing, the nighttime recovery chain can no longer operate fully. Recovery slows down, and the feeling of being short on energy begins to appear more often, even though on the surface everything may still look normal. There is something very few people pay attention to. Not all vitamins work in the same way. Some simply offer general support, but others play a far more subtle role, acting as signals that help the body recognize when it's time to rest and when it's time to recover. When these particular vitamins are lacking, the body's nighttime biological rhythm can quietly fall out of sync. What's important to note is that this kind of deficiency doesn't show up in obvious ways. It doesn't cause sharp pain or sudden exhaustion. Instead, the body responds with sluggishness, poor continuity, and a sense of incompleteness upon waking. You sleep, but you don't feel like you've truly rested. This type of vitamin doesn't create strength directly. It works more like a bridge, helping the body's natural processes coordinate smoothly as night falls. When that bridge weakens, everything that depends on it starts to function less efficiently. And that's why many people feel like they're putting in a lot of effort, yet the results never quite match. Many people believe that as long as they take the right thing, that's enough. They choose carefully and stay consistent, yet still don't feel a clear difference. Frustration sets in not because of a lack of effort, but because the results never quite show up. Very few stop to question one factor that seems small but isn't timing. The body doesn't operate in a straight line. It follows rhythms and cycles with specific periods meant for activity, rest, and internal reset. Daytime is when you expend energy, react, and deal with demands. Nighttime is when the body turns inward, works quietly, and prepares for the next cycle. When a supportive element arrives out of sync, it has little chance to fully integrate into this process. That's why many people feel like they've done everything right, yet still haven't reached a true sense of recovery. It's not because they chose the wrong thing, but because they weren't aligned with the right moment for the body to receive it. And sometimes simply adjusting that rhythm is enough to create a noticeably different experience. The vitamin mentioned throughout this discussion is vitamin D3. It's not something unfamiliar, but its role is often misunderstood. For many men over 50, vitamin D3 is not just a simple supplement, it becomes part of what helps the body maintain a more stable biological rhythm over time. What truly matters is not taking more or following trends, but how it's used. Vitamin D3 works best when taken in the right form so the body can recognize and utilize it more easily. At the right dose, just enough for individual needs. And most importantly, at the right time, often in the evening when the body begins to shift into rest mode and quietly reorganize what has been used throughout the day. This approach is not about chasing youth or fighting against time. It's much simpler than that. It's about guiding the body back to its natural biological rhythm. When that rhythm is respected, a sense of stability, clarity, and connection with yourself can slowly return in a gentle and lasting way. If what you've heard today helps you see your body from a different perspective, don't scroll away just yet. Subscribe to the channel to continue along with content created specifically for men over 50, calm, practical, and respectful of the body's natural rhythm. This channel doesn't rely on sensational claims, and it doesn't promise unrealistic results. Its only goal is to help you better understand what's happening inside your body so each day can feel a little lighter and a little clearer. And if you'd like to support the channel, leave a comment with the number 1 below. It's a small gesture, but it lets me know you're here, you're listening, and you're ready to continue with what's coming next.